Hello all, again welcome to the another set of series which is the generative AI, and let me tell you like why it is very important. First of all, thank you all. I am getting so much positive feedback for our computer vision series, and I hope which actually like personally motivated me to come with the new set of series which is like the generative AI series. And I have been expert from let's say past 3-4 years. Okay, why? Because I have working in a generative AI domain for more than 5 to 6 years of gaining so many trust of the customers. Okay, and why this series is basically my personal favorite because it actually like set me apart from others. Okay, it actually like make me different from others because this is the skill that I understanding the every nuts and bolts, understanding the every detail. I am very confident enough that I can actually deliver you a very good set of understanding when it comes to the generative AI domain. Okay, and let me tell you like why this series is basically important. Okay, even for you, like in whichever domain you are, in whichever age group you are, okay, in whichever stream you, whether you are actually working in a pharmaceutical industries or corporate industries or in let's say manufacturing domain, in any of these domain, or you are actually doing a business of your own. Okay, so your occupation is very diverse, and all this diversity is a kind of epicenter. The epicenter of all this diversity is basically the generative AI. Why? Because these tools are very I would necessary, or in somewhat it will be mandatory become necessary in the future in all set of technologies. Why I am telling you that, let's say if you actually going to understand about the global tech market, right? So it is expected that by 2030 or by let's say 2032, the global generative AI market is around 151 billion. Okay, it's very huge. Okay, so you can understand that like why these things are basically needed. Okay, whether you are working as the education industries, even in academy, it is now like it is become mandatory. Okay, you can understand like for example, way before the calculator was invented, right? Till the calculator was invented, okay, up till then people used to calculate it by like by their own hands, okay, or by other mathematics method which their ancestors has actually transfer learning their knowledge to their peers. Okay, they started like understanding this all this calculation. But when the calculator was invented, okay, now every people started like assimilating themselves, acclimatizing different calculation environment. Okay, different calculation tricks. Okay, their whole set of got changed. Okay, and whatever the calculation that we see now, okay, we are actually like completely rely on the our computer or different supercomputers, okay, to calculate each and at the very minute and a very precise manner. Okay, so as you can see that as the trend of the technology start, we as a human being again start understanding and comforting ourselves these new technologies. Okay, so you don't need to be scared. Okay, you don't need to be scared of how you are actually supposed to learn all this tech. The one very important thing is that believe. Okay, so believe is very important. Okay, and I am here, I will actually going to start from the very basic of this series so that whosoever you are, okay, it does not necessary that you actually belong to a CS stream. You can belong to any of this stream. Okay, you will able to learn this generative AI thing. This much I can guarantee you. So again, what has to be the prerequisite? So prerequisite, I am thinking like I know that you guys aware about this simple Python code. Even like the simple Python code is basically like needed, right? So these things get it by yourself. Okay, if you wanted to like understand about a Python, just let me know. I will take one extra hour series of like containing the every Python from the basic so that you will get a good set of revision. Okay, so what I'm thinking is that you know about Python, you know about SQL database and other things in order to get the basics. Okay, because these things are very basic, right? Now when it comes to generative AI series, so as I already told you, right, that why it is totally different and game changing, because you can actually see the trend. Okay, you can actually see the trend of let's say past 5 to 6 years. Okay, like from past we wouldn't have like so sure about the responses that we were getting from the chat gpt, right? As the model started learning so many parameters, as the model start having so many data of the people. Okay, there are so many data which contain the emotion of the people, representing the emotion of the people. There are so many data, the images of the people. We don't know that how this data or which of this data, either it is mine, either it is yours, either it is somebody else, has been fed as a weight parameter into the big large language model developed by a lot of different FANG companies, right, in order to serve us a good set of response. And we are amazed the kind of like response that we are observing in the market, right? Whether it is like a telecasting domain, whether it is like generating the image, whether it's doing the homework, right? So you can actually like try to understand these things. Okay, and it is somehow like it's actually like kind of become a very mandatory skills, right? That is why I come up with this set of series. Okay, because I personally things are very important and game changing. Okay, so let me just tell you from the very basic, okay, that where it is actually started. Okay, people think that like generative AI has just evolved from the past 2-3 years. because of so many advertisement are actually like invest awareing the people that generative AI and this current chat GPT is the very like past 2-3 years thing, but it's not. Okay, it's a way. For example, in 90s, right, there is actually a one chatbot which is actually named Iliaza. Okay, so Iliaza is actually like a chat, so it's able to like generate or offer to predict the new set of word. Okay, and it is actually like very good because as you can see, not in terms of precision but in terms of predicting something. Okay, let's say that if I have actually like offered to write some poem, okay, and I don't know what has to be like the fill in the blank of the last word, okay, or of the last sentence. Okay, and if we would actually like feed it into this Eliaza model, okay, the chatbot, okay, which has actually I think developed by Stanford or in MIT somewhere. Okay, and it is able to generate a good set of next token or good set of next word. Okay, and it is like a very surprising for the people that how it is actually generating the good word. Okay, we will talk later. Okay, as we going to evolve this series, okay, you will get to learn each and everything from the very basic. You will get to learn even developing the chat GPT model by yourself. Okay, the fine tuning, like you can actually offer, like you can actually flexible enough and confident enough to fine tune the model by yourself, and it's very amazing. I am telling you. Okay, there are so many things which is like in my, I need to be little patience to just to offer you everything each step by step. Okay, as you can see that AI went from basic chatbot to creating a art, music, videos and code, of course, right, because of the kind of memory it has. Okay, because of the kind of massive chunk data that it is basically trained on. Okay, and we can expect so many kind of in the future as well. Okay, maybe in terms of like AI robot system. Okay, we can actually see that the companies like Boston Dynamics, right, are actually working so best after the inclusion of this generative AI thing. Okay, they have come up with different kind of POCs that we would not even expect that even like a machine can work more precisely or better than the human. Okay, even is like the AI chess machine, you can actually see that how the world top chess player. Okay, so you can actually understand that the kind of mind-blowing memory that it has. Okay, the kind of reasoning capability that it has, right, in some way or in many way it is kind of the human. Okay, and some people believe it is very dangerous and some people believe that it is very helpful for the humanity, right, because later the human, the kind of jobs settlement that we have. Okay, we don't have to do a hard work or extra laborious work. Okay, we can actually train ourselves to become an instructor. Okay, that is very important. That is why there are so many prompt engineering are in the market. The people are selling in like lakhs of rupees. Okay, why? Because you can't ignore these things, right? You can't ignore all these things. You can't ignore the thinking. Okay, you need to tune your thinking in a way so that you can actually able to instruct your model. Okay, instruct AI machine. Okay, so that they are going to give you the better response. So in a way I can tell you, let's say that I have one AI system. Okay, and I have 5 different people. Okay, and 5 different people has, let's say, a same kind of a problem. Okay, now if I just going to give common AI machine, okay, and if I just give them a task, can you able to like get me the answer? Because AI has that answer, right? But AI will only going to give you answer if you ask a good question, if you do a good prompting. Okay, and that is why there many people fail. Why? Because how does this model think? Okay, how to give the good prompting? Okay, how to engineer ourselves to master this kind of a model? Okay, so you need to become a good set of instructor in order to get a good response. Okay, and whosoever is actually giving the good response are actually leading the market, are actually leading the, because now we can actually see that AI is actually carrying up making the food for ourselves, like for us, for human. Okay, AI is actually writing the code for ourselves. Okay, AI is actually like generating the movie for ourselves, right? AI is actually generating the music for ourselves. AI is actually like generating the image, generating so many art for ourselves. Okay, only because if we become a good set of instructors, that we take this responsibility more seriously. Okay, that is why this generative AI thing is very mind technologies according to my personal thing. Okay, so if we just going to see the quick history timeline, we will see that in 1960s, right, Eliezer was chatbot. It means that human can actually first talk to a machine. How interesting it is. Like in 1960s, okay, it was like the era of neural network where like people can anticipate the AI model chat with them, okay, with the set of memory it has, right? So Eliezer was the first chatbot. Okay, and as the time progressed, so in 2014, right, the GAN comes into picture. Okay, GAN is what? GAN is basically the, again, don't worry keywords, just understand. Okay, just understand the word that I am telling. Okay, you will get to understand each and everything in the later series. In the very introductory video I cannot tell you each and everything because it is like a very diversified field. Just be with me. Okay, if you have any issue you can actually comment down below. I am going to like solve each and every issue that you will be having. For now, just understand that what I am telling. Okay, even if you're not getting it, you will get it in future. This much I can guarantee you. Okay, so as the time evolves, as the time evolved in 2014, right? So there is a network structure which is like GAN came into picture. GAN is what? Basically the generative adversarial network. Okay, it was actually like developed in the year of 2014. Okay, it has actually developed in the year of what it does is that it has basically has the two model. Okay, it has, let's say, the generator model, and it has basically a discriminator model. Okay, now what it has, that let's say that I have one input. Okay, I have one input, right? And if I'm actually like feeding this input, the same input I am feeding it to the discriminator. Okay, and let's say that generator is actually going to generate or predict something. Okay, generator is actually going to generate or predict something. Okay, discriminator is the one who is actually opposing this prediction, is a more pessimistic person. Okay, discriminator is a more person. Why? Because it is always going to oppose the output which is like produced by the generator. Okay, you can just understand till now that generator and discriminator are the both neural network architecture. Okay, discriminator is going to like oppose this prediction generated by the generator part. Okay, now what it will do is that it will again going to go into as a feedback network to the generator. Okay, and then generator again is going to do the good prediction. Okay, and then again discriminator will be very pessimistic and it will say that you know it's not a very good prediction. Okay, and then again do a good prediction till up to the point where like it can basically fool the discriminator that it has generated the best prediction according to the anticipation of what discriminator has already made of, right? So let's say I have an image which is actually containing one noise. So let's say that I have one image which is actually containing some noise, okay, some pixel value, and I have, let's say, another image which is actually containing some image of some teddy bear or some human. Okay, discriminator have this image. Now what it will do is that the noise will go into the generator. Okay, now discriminator, by opposing the generator, need to train the generator to actually like convert this noise into the shape of this human. Are you getting it? Again, I'm telling, right? So let's say that discriminator has this memory, okay, and generator, I am actually feeding some noise to the generator. Okay, just think about the generative term, that where this generative keyword has been originated. Okay, now let's say that I have some image, the discriminator has some. Now let's say that I need to train the generator part. So in the first epoch, this noise will go into that generator. Okay, and let's say going to generate something, it will always going to generate a noise because I'm feeding the noise. Okay, now what will discriminator do is that it is going to oppose the prediction of generator, and it will tell some or give some extra thing, right, which is actually needed, so that at the very first you will get a loss value is very much, like it's much higher. Okay, you need to decrease the loss, right? So there the discriminator comes into picture. Okay, so again it will going to do the extra thing. Again the feedback will go as the back propagation, the feedback will go into the generator part. Okay, then again that whatever the things that it has actually generated, okay, whatever the things again the generator has generated, so let's say that it has comparatively less loss compared to the first epoch. Okay, the discriminator is going to tell that it needs some more training. Okay, it needs some more reconstruction. Okay, and again it is going to generate. Okay, there will occur where the generator is actually generating a very good image. Okay, somewhat equal to the discriminator or somewhat like better than the discriminator, because discriminator is kind of giving an extra edge to the generator to produce a good prediction. And like you can actually ask that, okay, but where this loop will get end, where generator is good and confident enough to fool the discriminator. Okay, where like the discriminator itself is getting confused that whatever the generator has giving it as an output, right? So is it the same as the discriminator has in the memory, or is it better than that? Okay, so there is something called a state of occur. Okay, and that is the point where like you should actually stop. So can you just guess that from the noise itself, by giving the extra feedback, you are able to generate some good picture? Okay, and not just in picture, you can understand this noise as a sound also. Let's say that discriminator has some the best memory. Okay, and let's say the generator has basically a noise. Okay, so can we train generator to convert this noise into some best song possible? Okay, can we do? The answer is yes, right? Now similarly, when it comes to generator has some image, can we going to generate a good set of image? Okay, we can actually do that thing, right? Again, so this is like I'm just telling the 2%, the generator and discriminator, that what it is. Okay, of course, like if you wanted to understand these things, then again these things will be there into the premium section, where like I will tell you each and everything that how these things are actually working. Okay, till now just understand up to 2014. Okay, what has actually developed in the market, right? So up till 2014, let's say generator dropped a fake image into the real image. Okay, image means it may contain the noise, it may contain some kind of other thing. Okay, so in 2014, the GAN has actually come into the market. Okay, then in 2017, okay, the transformer model comes into picture. Okay, again from let's say 1960 to 2040, you can see from this phase, right, that how the AI model, other than doing the prediction, other than doing the classification, it is like offering very much to the solution in terms of generating something. Okay, and that is unimaginable, right? Because it is like generating something, right? It is generating the good set of image with the good memory it has, right? Similarly, when it comes to 2017, so Google has actually like come with a paper which is like transformer paper. I will again teach these things into my in-depth deep class, okay, so that you would able to understand each and everything from the very basic. Okay, so transformer model is like very magic, and I would say that from 2017, right, there is a huge investment in the market of generative AI. Okay, because people would not have imagined that just by training the transformer model with the very huge chunk of data is going to give you a very extra magical unimaginable result that like people are completely rely upon this generative AI tech. Okay, so this is like the very game changing paper, the transformer paper. So again in 2020, okay, the GPT-3 it came into picture. Again 2020, like DALI model by OpenAI is actually go viral, where it is basically going to generate the good text to image, okay, or let's say image to image model, okay, where you have let's say good set of idea, okay, you convert that idea into the text, you have some product image, okay, and you convert this product image personalized idea into some good set of image, okay, for good branding and other thing. Okay, so there are many image generation model like stable diffusion, flux, DALI, Midjourney. Okay, so you might have a guess that where we are actually proceeding, right? Then similarly, when it comes to 2020 and up till 2025, we accumulated the entire journey of generative AI, and it is very important to know each and everything. Okay, there is always a better thing. Like first of all, in order to become a generative AI engineer, okay, you don't need to learn the transformer from the basic. Okay, you don't need to learn the DALI, that how does DALI work from the very basic. Even let's say that if you are a very fresher in let's say 1 to 2 years of experience, okay, so better go the use cases of like how to use this tech, okay, as an AI agent. Okay, I'll tell you the different frameworks which is actually needed, but it is always necessary that you know these kind of a keyword, because these things keyword is actually good enough for you to become a good set of generative AI engineer. Okay, then again, like, so what exactly is generative AI? Okay, so generative AI is, let's say that up till here the AI model, as I already told you, that was actually able to predict something. Okay, it was actually able to classify something. Okay, but now you can actually, like, other than doing the prediction and classification, you can actually generate the image, you can actually generate the music. Even like Sony, it has invested so many things like in generating the music. Okay, even like generating the code. Okay, we all use different coding tool, okay, to rely upon the AI to do coding on our behalf. Okay, similarly when it comes to text generation, the image generation, the video generation, the music, so there are so many things. Okay, there are so many like extra this AI model, these days AI model are actually doing, right? So it is like an artist, right, who actually being watched YouTube video and the Netflix, and now connecting all the dots. Okay, so now again the old AI and the generative AI. Okay, the old AI, it is not very old. Okay, it's not like that because you are going to become a generative AI engineer so you forget your roots. Of course you need to like build up your roots in order to become a very stable engineer. Okay, so whenever it comes, you actually either going to predict it or you either going to classify it, right? But when it comes to generative AI, you are actually creating the new things, okay, just by instructing the AI model. Okay, joining the different AI agent. Okay, when I say AI agent, it means what? A different AI agent are being made, or let's say that different LLMs, okay, has been made to perform different tasks, different category of tasks. Okay, so let's say that from the Google Gemini, okay, I'll tell you about everything, but for example, let's say that you might have used in the Google Gemini. Okay, so Google Gemini or even the Midjourney model. Okay, and let's say, so these kind of a model are more tuned towards generating a good set of good quality of image, right? When I am personally using the LLM model like Cloud or let's say Grok, so these model are basically generating a good textual chunk as an output. Okay, they may not good at generating the image, but they may good at generating the code part. Okay, so let's say that this LLM agent you wanted to like take you, so how we are actually taking the use of it, right? So we are going to understand about the framework. Okay, making different AI agent to do our task in a very orchestrated manner. Okay, just like an orchestra. Okay, in music orchestra, what does it happen? Like many people will be having a sole responsible for playing different music instrument, right? Similarly, different many AI tools are actually sole responsible generating different output, right? So when it comes to generative AI, it's basically going to create the new things. Okay, so now the real magic in 2025. Okay, so you can see that every day, right? Copilot, even like Copilot or tools like Cursor or Replit, okay, it is basically made for writing the code for us. Similarly, let's say Midjourney, okay, it is basically making the good profile picture, okay. Similarly, ChatGPT, it helps us like writing the email, correcting our grammar, any grammatical mistake, right, or doing our homework, okay. I mean, that is not very ethical, but people are actually letting AI to do their homework, okay. Similarly, so I will also show you that how people are actually like storing their information, the megabyte, petabyte of information in the human DNA, okay. In order to like understanding the entire pattern, okay, people are actually using the very large language model to understand the pattern, different proteins, DNA part, to coming up many different discoveries, okay. They are actually like relying upon the large language model, which is perfectly trained to do these kind of a thing. Even when it comes to use cases, like for example, before we were actually rely upon the vision AI, okay, where we are actually like figuring out that where the cancer has actually evolved, where when it comes to diabetic retinopathy, so where small mucus has actually like evolved in the microscope pixelated image, right. Now when it comes to generative AI, right, by using the big vision language model, okay, the VLMs, okay, we will also going to cover this part as well, right, in this series, okay. Best VLMs, okay, are basically like trained or designed in so many medical theses just to prioritizing these things, okay. So it has a very huge impact healthcare domain. When it comes to entertainment, of course, we see every day in Instagram reel, right, that people are making lakhs millions of views just by making some videos, just by making some animated videos by cartoon, okay. Again, you need to master that how to instruct the LLM model, okay, how to instruct any of this AI model, okay. The moment you instructing in a very civilized manner, okay, you will get a best response possible, okay. And if someone has not understand this generative AI and LLM thing, and if he is just talking to a machine like a human, good set of response, right. So again, when it comes to the entertainment industry, people are doing the investment a lot when it comes to the generative AI thing, okay. People are actually like making music from it, right, from lot of good models, okay, which basically like trained to generate a good set of music, okay. Similarly, when it comes to business, okay, so business, the auto generated report, okay, let's say that you have an entire database, you connect your database to your LLM, your large language model, and you actually instruct your large language model to, can you just generate a good pie chart, bar chart, line chart, or let's say any of this good interactive graph, okay, it will going to generate a good graph. Like we have spent at least 2 to 3 days just to like generate a good set of report, right. Now we can actually use the tools like Adobe or different tools, the Gamma app, right. So Gamma app, like personally I use Gamma, even like in Google Notebook, okay, I use like Notebook LLM, okay. So I use these set of tools because I know how to do the instruction, okay. I know that these are my data, how to make a very interactive graph out of it, right. Even like the entire you would see, right, so the entire set of the presentation I have created now, with the help of good prompting, right, I am able to do all these things, okay. If I would have sit and like generate everything, it would have taken me manually to like generate 2 or 3 days, okay. So I have generated in less than 10 minutes entire thing, okay. So you can understand about the power of generative AI. Similarly, let's say in 2025, the Gemini, again the Gemini deep thing, even like a DeepSeek model is also came into picture. I personally like Grok. So these many different AI models actually into the market, okay. When it comes to video gen, then again VO3 and Kling, okay, where like you can actually like generate an animated set of video from using these set of animated language model, okay, these set of large language model. Similarly, we will be covering out the lot of multi-agent thing, okay. Another thing, and when it comes to drug discovering part, so again it is actually using in a lot of science domain. Again, like wrapping up the entire thing, you can understand about the power of generative AI, and believe me that once you actually understand the entire set of lecture, you would later definitely going to thank me. It is nothing, it is just the 1 or 2% that I've already told you, the kind of content that I'm supposed to like planning the entire in this entire month, okay. You will going to get a lot more handheld practice of the entire thing, so that you would definitely be very confident to build your own generative model, okay, to train your model, okay, to make your own chat GPT, okay, like if you have a good computer. And there are so many things, okay. See, the point is like people always going to compare the artist, like someone who is actually working in a very creative domain, okay. So let's say you are an actor, okay, you are a musician, you are a painter, right. So you have some creative thinking, okay, because that is the only sole reason that you are an artist, okay. When I say artist, so you have so many things, okay. Now when it comes to generative AI, right, so you also creative thinking. When I say creative thinking, it means that at the very single time, what are the other creative approach other than the logical approach that you come up with, okay. Because now you need to like build up your creativity, okay. You need to come up with a lot more different things, right? So that you can actually start to become a good AI prompter, right. So that is what actually makes you a different. Okay, that is actually what makes you a different, right? And again, we are actually entering into the agentic AI era. The next topic that which I will be covering is the OpenAI, Hugging Face, Vertex AI, these things, right? So I will be covering about that, what does OpenAI do, and what is the Hugging Face do, and what does this Vertex AI and other things do. Okay, so till now this is just a generative AI video, like the generative AI introduction, how it has actually evolved. Okay, that what are its past. Okay, like up till 2014, like we have understood about that, how basically the GAN came into picture, and then with the hope of transformer model, which no one has even expected, and after involvement of transformer model, it has actually changed the entire globe. Okay, when it comes to business, marketing, education, a lot of B2C, B2B businesses and everything. Okay, even like even a simple are showing a very keen interest just to understand these kind of a skill. Okay, and it is not very tough. Okay, you just need to give a little time and an extra curiosity just to understand these things. Okay, it's not very tough. Okay, there is also a no code tool which I will be coming up with, right? So even you are not a coder, okay, you can mastery over this skill, right? So it is not like very confined into the one set of domain, it is for everybody. Okay, so it is such a diverse field. That is why I like about this technology, right? So technology makes you feel a much more diverse other than your group of ethnicity, whichever group you actually belong. Okay, so that is why it is very very important to understand this. A very diversified, I would say, accepted by in all the tech industries, again I am telling, is the generative AI series, and very very excited to come up with this series in the future videos. So thank you all for like sticking with. Let's move back into the another set of lecture where I will tell you the big companies like OpenAI, Hugging, and other companies like Gemini and other things, right? And I will tell you like how these companies are actually making which set of LLM model. Okay, and then how people are actually using it. Okay? We will going into the more technical depth to understand the main tool for the purpose made to make you a good generative AI engineer. Okay, so thank you all.